it's 7:03. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome everyone to our October 7th meeting. It's been a couple weeks since we met. Okay, the minutes of September 16th, 2015. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Our motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Lou, you have a proclamation you'd like to read.
Like this, the library, right? Yep. Proclamation of the Mayor and Commissioners entitled Cecil County Public Library 2015 National Medal Award. The proclamation of the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton recognizing the Cecil County Public Library as a recipient of the 2015 National Medal from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Whereas the mission of the Institute of Museum and Library Services is to inspire libraries and museums to advance innovation, lifelong learning, and cultural and civic engagement. And whereas the National Medal is awarded annually by the Institute of Museum and Library Services to 5 American libraries that demonstrate extraordinary and innovative approaches to public service exceeding the expected levels of community outreach. And whereas the Institute of Museum and Library Services awarded Cecil County Public Library the National Medal for making a critical difference in education, workforce, and economic development through their early childhood learning initiatives, summer reading program, technology classes for veterans, and small business information center services. And whereas the Cecil County Public Library is the first and only Maryland library to receive this national award. Now therefore, the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton hereby recognize and honor the Cecil County Public Library Board of Trustees, its staff, for this prestigious recognition, and encourage the citizens to visit and engage their local branches of the Cecil County Public Library.
I can tell you that we are so proud to have the Cecil County Library right here in Elkton, at least one of them. And I can tell you, I've gone to the library on many occasions, but normally I go through my wife. I have her go for me. And she's probably there, I can tell you, I think that she's there every day of the week because I think she reads about 300 books a month. She reads so much. And I think it's an honor for us to have the library right here in our heart. And we'd like to make this presentation to you. So if I could have the board to come down with me so we can get a great photo opportunity. And I think maybe you have something. Oh, very nice. Oh, very nice.
Seeing it, so as you can see, signed by the First Lady herself, Michelle Obama, and a very exciting experience that we certainly will never forget.
This is wonderful.
And so we wanted to share it with
Well, very good. Can we get a photograph with you?
absolutely.
All right.
Come on.
Here, and I'd like to, here, I'll give you the,
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
we'll balance it out a little bit.
My God. Don't you record me?
No.
Hey,
Come on back.
there we go. Okay, once more. I don't want to get the reflection off that.
Off of my head, or is that what you're saying?
Yes, I got it.
Very nice. Well, thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Tell you that we are, this is our Assistant Director, Warren Miller, Jamie McCloskey from Elkton Branch Library.
There we go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And if I can just say, we brought an example here of our new library card as well.
Wow.
And as you can see, that highlights this award. And And we also brought a library card for each of you. Now, so I know that you've been relying on your wife.
This
but,
is perfect.
but we have these new library cards for each of you.
Why, thank you.
And I know that many of you have library cards, but you can just bring this into the branch and they'll switch it over for you.
Oh,
So
this
you've
is
got a new-
fantastic.
Everybody can have a national medal in their pocket. And so share that. And we also wanted to tell you that we too are very proud of our Elkton branch. It is the busiest branch in Cecil County. And it is a pleasure to work with this community and its many citizens. We take great pride in being here. So we have your award touches us all personally. And we're just delighted to be here tonight. Look forward to many more years of services that make a difference in our. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you. I'm excited that with the Gilpin Manor project that's going to happen,
Oh,
the
yeah.
library is going to get some well-needed parking.
Yes.
Right? We're going to get additional parking.
We'll have additional parking, so there will be enough parking for all users, even when we have meetings going on. And that's going to be a huge plus for everybody. So
Yes.
be able to, you can of course walk there, but lots of times people are driving on errands and stuff, and we'll have more than double the parking spaces. So it should make a big difference for everybody.
And I got a phone call a little while ago. Commissioner Alan McCarthy wanted to be here. He wanted me to make sure that he's here in spirit. He had to take care of some county business, but he did want to be here to
Well,
also
thank
be
you.
part of this and here for the town.
Yeah, just say that Councilman McCarthy, of course, the Vice President of the council, has really taken an interest in helping the library to do good work and gives us great advice. And so it's very nice that he was going to be here too. So thank you all
Very
so
good.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to put this down now, Michelle?
Yes, please, thank you.
I'm a jack of all trades. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the American Energy LED lighting upgrade proposal. Did you want, it's going to take you a few minutes to hook up?
Just a second. Is that? Is there a?
I don't know if we turn the projector on or not. Or did we? Yes, sir.
Hope you don't mind if I.
Yep, you're good.
I think the last time. So I was here for one of the workshop meetings a few months ago, I think, to discuss the street lighting proposal. I have some updates on that, as well as there were some additional proposals that were outstanding, one of which was actually signed, but unfortunately, Delmarva made a bunch of changes that caused that proposal for the second phase, the exterior lighting for the town administration building, to also change. So I've made some revisions to the proposals we've had in front of the town, affecting the town admin building, the police department, and also the Main Street lighting project that we have proposed. So I'm just going to briefly remind everybody what we had. On Main Street, there were 116 of those 8-corn fixtures, which we all know so well. We had already piloted 2 of them with new LED, and those fixtures use about 61,000 kilowatt hours annually, costing approximately $7,400 to the town each year. The Town Hall Phase 2, there were a few odds and ends that were missed on the original project, some areas that we felt were part of the police department that weren't, such as the HR office, some storage closets, and of course the exterior lighting. So most of that is primarily consists of the exterior lighting, recessed wall packs, metal halides, about 13,000 kilowatt hours a year, $1,500 in utility down. And then the police department also is under consideration. Interior, standard office fixtures, kind of like what you had on the town admin sign before. And then they also have some exterior fixtures as well. Originally, I had those all as part of the town hall phase 2, but because of some rebate changes, I had to move some of them to the police department project. 34,800 kilowatt hours annually, about $3,800 in utilities. So what we're proposing for the street lighting, the biggest change here is that they had eliminated a lot of the fixtures that we have typically used from the what they call the Design Lights Consortium certification list, and a lot of things are being recertified. Based off of what has been recertified now, which is a much smaller number of fixture types, and most of them are major brand name fixtures or brand name manufacturers like Lithonia or Philips, the costs have actually gone up. I found a good fixture that's more expensive than what we originally had proposed. And it's likely that that fixture will come back online. If it does, I will be sure to let you know. We can monitor that in the coming weeks. But for now, what I'm able to propose is a project that will save about 49,800 kilowatt hours per year, which is $5,400 for the town annually. The total cost of the project is about $51,620. It has about a $20,880 rebate from Delmarva. And so the net cost of the town would be about $30,740 with a 5-year, 8-month simple payback that doesn't include any maintenance savings or anything else like that. Still all the advantages of LED in terms of long life, better light output, and improved color rendering.
What is the length of time before we would have to replace one of them LEDs?
They are all rated for 50 to 100,000 hours, so we're talking years to decades, technically.
Okay.
You know, you have about 4,000 hours per year of operation. You're at least getting a decade's worth of life, and plus they all carry a minimum 5-year warranty. So for the first 5 years, anything that happens is on the manufacturer. For the first year, AEC personally will handle replacement and everything like that, and we will assist you.
What's the typical maintenance?
In terms of
You said excluding maintenance costs.
excluding maintenance, well, it's whatever the existing lamps. Right now, you have high pressure sodium. They get good lifetime out of them. They're usually about 15 to 20,000 hours or more before the light starts to degrade a lot. They're a fairly cheap lamp, but you would probably be replacing them 2 or 3 times in the amount of time that an LED would last. Plus, there's all, you know, you have to factor in the cost of labor from facilities to go out and replace these things, the lift, gas, all that. We never had really good numbers. We were just kind of estimating, but Dan probably could elaborate a bit in terms of what that budget is for the town each year to replace those lamps. Usually about a third of them, you know, we estimate usually go bad within each year. So probably a couple $100 to $1,000 in terms of maintenance budgets that could be reduced because you're going to the LEDs. One of the biggest questions I had also was in the parking lot behind Elkton Center were some street parking lot poles that I was asked to look into. And I still can't say I have a definitive answer. There's a lot of different information going back and forth from Delmarva to Lockheed Martin and the rebate program. The last answer I had from Lockheed Martin, which oversees the rebate programs on behalf of Delmarva, was that there is no current LED street lighting tariff that they can charge right now. They do provide rebates, but only to poles that are owned by the town. If it's leased or owned by the utility company, they do not provide any rebates. And if we were to change those, which still has some advantages, there would be no rebates available. If we're even allowed to, I think we would have to get express written consent from Delmarva before we could do so. But I was going to talk with Mary Jo and Linda from Delmarva about maybe trying to work something out. So there's still some more work to be done there. It's only 7 there, but there are a lot of those poles around town. Could be something to look into for the future, and we can certainly let you know. the Phase 2 Town Hall. The exteriors, if you want to see one of the fixtures we put up as a pilot, this was a couple months back. These things keep changing. But it's in the back of the building over the back exit door, that little pathway. We'd be doing the same exact thing. What I originally had on the original proposal was doing all 16. Delmarva came back and said, oh, well, the town, with new criteria, the town is no longer a small business. At least this building was no longer small business on this side. So that reduced the incentive. So what I did was I took 9 of those wall packs off, because they're technically on the police department side, which does qualify as small business and gets a better rebate. Took 9 of them off, moved them over there, so we only have the 7 that are still here, plus all of those canopy lights on this side here, I guess, will be changed, plus some additional work. HR building is going to get the LED panels that are dimmable, just like we have in here. And just kind of wrap up work. The reason why I'm representing this is because the net cost went up. So Lewis and I thought it would be best that the town had a chance to decide whether or not they still wanted to pursue it. And then finally, police department is one, again, I've been working on for a little while. But ultimately, this one is the most attractive because really nothing has been done on the police department side yet. They still have all the old fluorescent lighting. We can save about $2,500 for the town each year. The total cost is $20,705, $13,305 rebate, so $7,200 net cost under 3-year payback. And we could, start moving on that. That would be a lot of panels, a lot of them dimmable. Plus some retrofit to tubes, and then all the exterior wall packs as well that are on their side of the building. So overall, we're looking at an investment of about $81,315, $37,265 to be covered by the utility rebates, so $43,850 net cost for the town after rebate, to save about 83,445 kilowatt hours per year, almost $10,000 in utility savings, not including maintenance and some of the other advantages. Under 5-year payback, they do everything. So I just wanted you all to have a chance to see this. I will also point out they are re-initiating, I think I presented last year about the Smart Energy Communities program to do enhanced energy efficiency, where the state will also cover 50% of them. They will actually provide grants, grants to cover energy efficiency improvement. So if that's something you'd also be interested in, let me know, and we can also explore that, and that can be applied towards any electrical equipment that covers HVAC, thermostats, water heating, so on and so forth. So, any questions?
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Lou, can you give us a recommendation, what you think, how you want to move forward with this, and I'm not sure if this was a budgeted item that I'm aware of, unless it was not. So give us a recommendation, and we'll, if it's something we want to pop in moving forward, that'd be great. I can see the tremendous savings, long-term savings in this. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Lou, you were on, sir.
Okay, we have a bid opening for project 2015-003. This is the TAP grant that we received from the state highway, or hope to receive from the state highway. And because of the criteria of state highway that we, at the bid engineering, we had our engineer prepare the specifications, and we had a number of engineers bid on the project, including Duffield Associates, Landmark Science and Engineering, and RK&K.
Did you say that, did KCI also look at this, or did not?
Yeah, they did the specs for us.
Okay.
They can't bid on it. This is for engineering services, that's what it's for, not for construction. They would prepare all the plans for construction. Okay, the total bid price for Duffield Associates is $28,450. $78,450. Landmark Signs and Engineering, their bid is $41,400. And RK&K,
What was that number? 41,000.
$41,400. RK&K is 71.
How much?
$71,022.35.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, please. 71.
$71,022.35. What I'll do is submit these proposals to KCI for evaluation and present a recommendation at the meeting on October 21st.
Thank you. Yeah, someone's got the scope of work. Because if it's 10% of the, it's just kind of thinking out loud, they're ranging anywhere from $280,000 to $710,000 for a sidewalk project. But,
Engineering.
yeah, I'm just saying it would be, that's about 10% of the project. Wow.
Okay, the 21st, I'll present a recommendation.
Thank you, Lou.
Next item I have, proclamation for breast cancer awareness. A proclamation entitled Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A proclamation of the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton proclaiming October 2015 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas annually an estimated 232,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and 40,000 will die from the disease. And whereas breast cancer affects both women and men, although it is second most frequently diagnosed cancer in American women, thousands of men will also be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer each year. Whereas each October our nation and the international community partner to heighten awareness of breast cancer and to emphasize the life-saving message of early detection through outreach, education, and screening programs. And whereas through research and advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including an increase in 5-year relative survival rates for localized breast cancer. Now therefore, the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton hereby proclaim the month of October 2015 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Elkton, and encourage all citizens to support research that will one day lead to the elimination of this insidious disease.
Do we have a motion to accept proclamation?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the proclamation? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have is ordinance 6-2015. This ordinance was introduced on September 16th, and it involves prohibits loitering on commercial property, as well as under certain circumstances, the loitering on town property, specifically parking lots. And the violations are both infractions and misdemeanors depending on the offense. And these are offenses that would be enforced by the Elkton Police Department. I would recommend that, given the fact that it was introduced and is appears tonight for adoption, that the board adopt ordinance 6-2015.
Do we have a motion to accept ordinance 6-2015 loitering?
So moved. Second.
And a second. Lou, in the discussion, when does it come into, when does this become law?
Becomes law in 20 days from the date it's adopted.
Very good. Mary Jo, you mentioned to me the other day a question you had on one of the paragraphs, or
I
did
asked
you?
our attorney, and I'm fine with it, thank you.
Okay, very good. Oh, any other discussion?
What was that, Mary, if you don't mind?
It was actually under the loitering and then the prohibited conduct. I just wanted to have something explained and he explained it for me.
Okay.
It was it was in one paragraph, I think it said and then on another paragraph it said and or.
It had to do with whether it had to have a police officer and the owner or his or her representative, or whether it was just the police officer. And the paragraph where it was just the police officer, it had to do with a closed business, where the business owner very likely wouldn't be there. And the police officer might respond on his or her own, you know, having seen something that aroused their interest in there. And so in that case, the owner may very well not be present.
So that's the and or. Yeah,
No, that was
right.
Yeah.
that was just a police officer.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm so happy we got that approved.
Yeah, like we put a month over.
Yes, it will be.
I'm sorry? Next item I have is resolution R10-2015, disposal of surplus property. This resolution shall declare certain property of the town of Elkton as surplus and authorize the disposal of the property. Whereas the charter of the town of Elkton, Article 13, C13-1, provides for the disposal of any real or personal property of the town that has been declared surplus by a resolution of the board, and whereas following town-owned vehicles have exceeded their respective service lives due to age, mileage, and/or general condition are recommended for disposal as surplus property. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and commissioners as follows: the following vehicles are declared surplus property: 1999 Dodge Durango, 2001 Ford Taurus, 2000 Ford Taurus, and another 2001 Taurus. I'm sorry, they're all 2001 Ford Tauruses. These are for police cars, except for the 1999 Dodge was assigned to building and zoning. This resolution also provides that the town administrator shall hereby dispose of the aforementioned vehicles for sale. Proceeds of the sale of aforementioned vehicles will be deposited in general fund. What we'll do is take those to Ritchie Brothers in Northeast and put them on the auction block, and that's our most successful means of disposing of surplus property.
Do we have a motion to approve resolution R10-2015?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Any discussion on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
A quick question on that one. Who represents us at the auction? I meant to ask that the last time that we got rid of stuff. Who stands there on the block?
I'm sorry?
Who stands there on the block representing our product being sold?
We don't attend those. We don't attend those auctions. So I don't think we've ever attended those.
No, we haven't.
They're live on the internet.
I think you have
Yeah,
to
we actually
set
watched
up
them.
ahead of time,
Yeah,
because they have
So
a
you don't take them
viewing.
down there, you
You
actually
take
do it
it
on?
down there, then you have a day where they view all the items at Ritchie Brothers, and then they start the bidding the next day.
Okay, so it's,
There are
I got you.
hundreds of items.
Okay.
Next item I have is Resolution R11-2015, entitled Downtown Street Banner and Welcome Signage Project. A resolution of the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton approving the application and receipt of financing for the Elkton Downtown Street Banner and Welcome Signage Project. Whereas the Elkton Alliance, Inc. proposes to undertake the project described above, and whereas the Elkton Alliance, Inc. has applied to the Department of Housing and Community Development of the State of Maryland for funding in the amount of $15,000 for the project under the department's Main Street Improvement Program. And whereas the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton approves this project, now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Commission of the Town of Elkton hereby approve the project and the application for funding from the Department of Housing and Community Development as described above.
Do we have a motion to approve resolution R11-2015?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That completes the items I have.
Thank you, Luke. Alrighty. Wanted to bring to the board's attention that we received every, I guess, every year we send out quality, annual water quality reports. We send those out to our town residents, and we got approval from the Maryland Department of Environment that it would be okay to electronically deliver those reports. So on our water bill, we're actually going to post on our water bill that the annual water quality report is available online if you would like to read it. If you want us to send you one, we'll be happy to send you one also. But that'll actually save the town about $4,500 in print and mail to our water and sewer customers. So it will be a savings for our town residents for that water quality report, which is very important, but it seems like it says the same thing every year.
I'd like to comment that the initiative of Michelle Henson was responsible for that, and to applaud her efforts in that case.
Thank you, Michelle. I wanted to mention, and I know Mary Jo's going to talk about the parade, but Trick or Treat is officially on October 31st,
I was going to ask about that.
6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So officially October 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I wanted to mention that we talked about closing the streets for 5K runs, and it seemed like we've had more of those this year than we've ever had, I think, in years past. And I know that we're winding down with our commitments of the 5Ks that have been booked. But I just wanted to remind everyone, we have one more on Saturday, and it's the Color Vibe Run for breast awareness for through, let me see, Race for the Ribbon, 5K run walk. It'll be starting at 9 o'clock, registration's at 8 o'clock. And I think we have one more race book that will start at 9 o'clock next year. But in the future, I think we've discussed that we're going to, hopefully the board will agree that all races start at 7 o'clock so that we don't really cause any issues with our downtown merchants on those Saturdays. But it looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, we're not closing High Street? Did I read that correctly on the orders? What's that?
You have to.
Well,
It looks like Hyde and North.
it says High Street to North,
Right. But not north, not beyond.
and then it says North Street to Main, Main Street to Delaware Avenue, Delaware Avenue to Meadow Park West, and it says Delaware Avenue to Howard Street. But I don't see where it really, well, I guess the officers will know better than I do.
They'll extend the perimeter a little bit, so you won't close right there, they'll go back a couple blocks and close it, yes.
Hopefully, one of our biggest issues is that there's residents that need to get into city pharmacy to get their medication on those Saturday mornings. And Lyons Pharmacy, I'm sorry, Lyons Pharmacy. City Pharmacy is one of the sponsors of the race. And I'd like to make sure that we can get those, figure out how we can allow those people to get their medicines. I guess we just have to make them aware that if they are a sponsor.
We try our best to get as many people through as we can up to the, once the race starts.
Maybe we pass it back to them. Well, very good. I wanted to run this by the board. On November the 19th is going to be the Small Business Person of the Year Award. And I'm happy to say that it's Bill DeFreitas has been chosen as the Small Business Person of the Year with the Cecil Guardian. And I've given this a lot of thought, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't think that any time that I could ever remember that the town of Elkton has ever thanked the people that do business in the town of Elkton. I would like to see on that date, we do a proclamation for all business owners in our town that do business with us and proclaim it their day. That's collectively for the whole town. I'd like to do that proclamation on that date. I'd like to put it in our local newspapers. And I'd like to see what kind of response we get from our business owners to see if they would be interested in coming to a reception on that November 19th date. And the purpose of that reception is so that we, as a town, have an opportunity to thank the people that have invested in our town to do business as a town, into town. And then also, we would be able to hear from them, to listen to them, to find out what their issues in business is. And it would give us an opportunity to hopefully talk to them and find out ways that we can get them possibly to add additional employees, maybe to expand our business. My intent would be to have individuals from the state of Maryland here with the programs in hand that would talk to those business owners if they need any assistance and make them aware of these programs. Also at that point, I'd like to have in my hand our line card per se of when a business comes into our town, who they should see first, what direction they need to go, and it would be a very easy step for them if they have any questions about town matters, who they can contact. So I wanted to kind of put that. I don't need a decision. Well, actually, I'd like to have a decision if the board's totally against it. I understand, but if it's something that I can pursue to move forward, to do a proclamation to thank them, I don't think that that's any expense in that. But depending on how many business owners that would want to come for a light hors d'oeuvres venue, maybe upstairs in the meeting room, it could get to where it could cost us maybe $750 to $1,000. So.
I think it's a good idea, it's just that we make sure we don't forget anyone, because, you know,
Well,
you end up forgetting that one business owner, and then you're damaged for life.
Well, and I think that was the, initially, my thinking on this was that we would mail out to every business owner in the town of Elkton a thank you for doing business here in the town of Elkton. There is no doubt that we would forget somebody. So by putting this proclamation in the Cecil Whig, the Cecil Guardian, I felt that, and have a little RSVP thanking them, and if they read it, I think they'll be very happy that we're finally saying thank you for doing business with the town. So we wouldn't miss anybody.
Now, what you said to the business owner is going to be a thank you or a thank you and or a proclamation, or what is your thought on that?
My thinking is we wouldn't send them anything other than hosting a little light hors d'oeuvres with them if they tend to want to show up, and it would be here to thank them, but also while they're here to be thanked, we'll make it very clear that there's people here that can help them grow their business if they choose fit, or if they just want to be here and be happy that we finally thanked them for investing in our town.
Well, it's an opportunity to get people at the same table, your business owner plus support people. And that is one advantage you have there. I see nothing wrong with that.
I don't see any downside of it at all.
I think it's wonderful to say thank you to everyone for doing business in Elkton.
Right.
Okay, very good. So we'll kind of move in that direction with maybe creating a proclamation for that date. Thank you. I believe that that's all I have. Commissioner Van Reenen, you're on. You want to go left? You want me to go left tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioner Jablonski, you are on.
Okay, I want to thank everyone that came out to the Fall Fest this year. We had beautiful weather, a great crowd, and it takes a lot of people. We had 41 volunteers that put in 286 volunteer hours. So for an event like that, I just want to thank everyone. We had a few MCs up here that did a great job and helped out for the day. But it was very, very nice. Next year is the 20th anniversary of Fall Fest. So we are hoping for a huge event. So I'm getting it out there, and now anybody has sponsorship money, put it aside.
And can I add something to that?
Sure.
I'd just like to say, anyone that missed the Music on Main, you missed an opportunity for Commissioner Gibbons' his singing voice.
Yes.
And then on the Fall Fest, you missed Commissioner Piner's singing voice. So both of them, beautiful voices, and they did an excellent job.
Absolutely.
You can, listen, I love where this is.
They will both be singing, and when we recognize the businesses. And the fireworks, everybody enjoyed them. I don't know, I guess the board will be discussing again if we want to switch them to the fall and they're half price, or keep them on the 4th. I think it's something that the community needs to think about as well. But I want to thank the mayor and the board for having them during Fall Fest. We actually could see them from Main Street, so it was nice.
I think one comment to that, I think the cost of the fireworks went down dramatically from 4th of July to September, is that correct? Or maybe,
Not, I don't think this year.
or maybe this year it didn't come into play because we just postponed it, but,
15,000.
Yeah,
so it didn't affect
this year.
this year. But you know, something is, I've got mixed feelings on it. I think we all like to celebrate the 4th of July, but I also, we did a little research on that September date, and we all know that the Star Spangled Banner was written in the month of September, so there is a little bit of history that could be tied to that. And quite frankly, it's a lot cooler sitting out there the other night watching the fireworks than it was in July. So I could be swayed very easily by our community and or our commissioners, so thank you.
And the last thing I have is the Halloween parade is October the 30th. If you haven't seen it, there's over 600 children floats, and it's really, really a nice event. So come out and join us for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Piner.
I think I'm going to start with the Meadow Park. If everybody knows, the Meadow Park's been being used a lot, really getting a lot of activity down there. Been really stopping in and out on our way home. A lot of the walkers are really using that walking route a lot. One of the concerns that I had was down there with the football program that's in there right now. At night, I know that Chief might remember they had a phone call the other night. Someone almost got hit. There was a group of kids walking, I guess home after practice. Lights went out. They have the dark uniform. So I talked to Mary McGaw to talk to the director, but maybe if we could just keep eyes on that the next couple of evenings when they close down. The police officer could probably just come through there just to make sure the kids are walking in groups home up the hill with dark shirts on. So hopefully somebody's going to have to address that in order for a safety reason. So I just want to make sure that's known. Mary McGaw was talked to about that.
If somebody's available, we'll put her on their list of things to do, and if they're available, they'll be down there.
Well, hopefully she can talk to the director and have them, either parents should be picking them up, but anyway, that's.
Who shuts the lights there?
I really don't know.
Who shuts the lights? 'Cause
I would imagine it's the organization that's using the facility.
Because I noticed the other night, the lights were shut very early and the field was full of people.
Is it on a timer?
I don't know.
Elkton football, Elkton's the one that practice up front that turns the lights on.
Yeah, they shut them awful early.
The only concern is the kids walking home, and I'm not really saying who needs to shut them off and what time. Just want to make sure that the kids get home safely. The other thing is the dance program. Our dance program has had 226 registered dancers this year. Matter of fact, it's 20 dancers above last year, so it's one of our biggest programs. Well, basketball is a big program, but that's one of our biggest programs throughout the year, is a dance program. I want to commend them on doing a great job with that. The basketball program is enrollment is now open for the basketball sign-ups for the kids for the fall program. And other than that, I did have some conversation with Perry Willis today on moving forward with the recreation center over at Blue Street. They're waiting for a couple of things, some numbers from Jeannie for the land, I guess, acreage or whatever. And then they're gonna move forward and let us know when we have a definite go with that property. All right, so that's it for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Gibbons?
First on this, I want to thank Mary Jo for the Fall Fest. It was well attended and it was done graciously. Louis or Dan, what's happening to the trees out front? Some are dying and some are alive.
They will be addressed next week. They'll all be alive.
Is
Some
there a
will be
problem?
switched out.
Pardon?
So some will be switched out, they'll be switched out next week.
Where do you get them from? Or where do you get them?
Oh, from a local nursery, from a local vendor for nursery, Pennsylvania, I believe. We've got the trees, and we're going to switch out next week.
Okay, I was not out at the park for the park roads. How many people were out there? I was at Elkton Diner walking from the highway. How many people were out there?
Do you have any idea,
That's
Chief?
part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say minimum 500, easy. Took us almost as long to empty the park out as it does on 4th of July.
Is that
That's
right?
my big comment. There was people on Route 40, pulled on the side watching. You can see from the Elkton Diner Park, because people were eating and looking at the fireworks. I was in there at that time. And then as I was on my way home, they were sitting in the Kmart parking lot. People were standing in the cars looking. You can see it just as good from there. So the visibility is really good
Yeah.
all through town.
And I was saying at the pond, I could not believe how many people and cars were at the pond, and I was told they go there every year. They pull along the side, get out their chairs, and it's beautiful to see them from there. So I guess there's places all over.
That's good. Michelle may have a plan for you in the future, but anyhow, that's good to know. Dan, what is it that we can do to get certified seal to go to a specific address other than in the town of Elkton? What if somebody has a desire or a thirst to have certified seal, like our commissioner or the mayor to come in the area? Is that possible?
Oh, you mean for the street
For
sweeping?
sweeps, for cleaning the street.
The way the contract.
And I know they have a designated hearing here in town, but
Yeah,
there's been a lot of people have asked if it's possible, and the thoroughfare is clean, if they could come through there. I just don't know if that's
Yeah.
feasible or not.
Yes, it's feasible. What happens is, you probably have maybe 2 hours out of the 5 hours allotted for the town, probably 2 hours are free, and then they do different neighborhoods as they go. There's a checklist. They try to get different neighborhoods in different weeks. So if something is specific, you let us know, we can relay that information.
And you're saying it's not a town resident though?
No, I said residents.
Oh, they're a railroad resident. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah. They get on there, but I don't like the way they do it sometimes.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Commissioner Van Reenen?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. A couple things I want to applaud DPW on I take the dogs down, and I actually have seen Commissioner Piner a few times driving through there in the evenings, and I'm incognito with my baseball cap on and walking my dogs. And I got horses, I know. I got them big dogs. But I have to agree with him. I tell you what, it's great, because I've used the park all spring, all summer, and this fall, I think Parks and Rec, I think they did a great job as far as getting a lot of people down there and making sure that logistically there's enough area for soccer and 2 football things that are going on. And one thing I do want to stress, and I absolutely agree, that some people do drive extremely fast through there. And the amount of walkers that we have, I've talked to a couple people, and they of course, they like the road widen, they like this, they like a lot of things there. But I'll tell you what, as far as the grass cutting and stuff like that, the way the park looked prior to this most recent flood, I got to say that it really came along rather quickly. Also the dog park. And again, I have dogs. I go to Fair Hill, I go to 896, Lum's Pond, and I come down to our dog park. And for the longest time, I couldn't stand our dog park. Always water. It was horrible. Whoever took the time and effort to put the crush run in, put the mulch in, actually weed it and everything, there's a lot more people visiting, which I hope will translate into a lot more people coming downtown. I did send an email, Dan, a couple weeks ago where I was asking for those 28 basin locations. I never got a response from you, the exact locations. The email that I received back, or the read receipt, says that the email was open. So I don't know if that you opened it, didn't do it, you opened it, you did do it, and I didn't get it, but if you did it, could you resend it to me again? I think it was the 28 catch basins and also the next 50 that you were supposed to be doing.
Yes, all right.
Appreciate it. I have a couple things. Over the last couple weeks, there's been unfortunately with the social media and the newspapers and such, it pushes me into a situation where when I ran for election, one of the things, like everybody else, we talked about transparency, and we talked about conservative and so on and so forth. And one of the reasons I ran for it was I felt that the town had a lack of transparency. And unfortunately, I still feel that the town has a lack of transparency. And I want to really talk about this last thing as far as renting that space, because I don't believe that the whole story has been told. And if you take a couple steps back, I saw in the paper that years ago, I guess either the town or the Elkton Alliance had paid rent or could have paid rent for a specific place. And again, I'm not for any of that. I would prefer that business survive on their own merit. Now, to block this recent business wasn't, and I saw in the paper where it said something about that they were curious to see who would be coming in that would be connected to an elected official. That would be really the easy way out of this.
Excuse me, can you move your mic up? And
Yeah.
I did not hear what you just said.
It said in the paper, can everybody hear me okay? Everybody hear me okay? It said in the paper that there was, that they would be curious to see who was going to rent the
Who said
space.
this?
The paper. I believe it was in an editorial on a particular Monday and that would be extremely easy to think that us and or the Alliance would rent a place to put somebody in there that we want. But I know for a fact that's not the reason. The reason that we did it was because the organization could cause problems issuing a new liquor license for the brewery coming into town. And that's why it was done. Now, again, we're all elected officials, we're all doing the best that we can, and we're making decisions based upon what we think is in the best interest of the town. I have no problems with that. My side of it is I don't agree with that. I don't agree that we should be picking winners and losers. And then if you take it a step further, it's been common knowledge that one of the first programs for the loan program is the brewery. It's been common knowledge on that. I mean, it's been said outright by a couple elected officials. Again, it just seems...
I can say I've never said that.
Okay, I believe it was in the paper. I could be wrong on that. I'll go back and take a look at that when I think it was Mr. Harris was coming through town, that was something that was said to him, and I'll take a look at the paper. And if I'm wrong on all these, again, my intentions are never to embarrass anybody, an elected official, an official, a business owner, a resident, or anything like that. I have questions that just don't make any sense why we would take money and block somebody coming in. And as I know for a fact that the reason we did it was because the organization has a type of status that would potentially cause major issues to issue a new liquor license to the brewery. And that was said by an elected official. So then that
Who said that?
You did.
To who?
Me.
Okay.
Me. Sitting right here the day before after I asked Steve.
Now,
I wasn't going to say anybody's name, and that's not my intentions to embarrass
but
anybody.
you certainly didn't embarrass me.
Okay.
I want you to say, when you say people, I want you to actually give the names from here on out. Very happy about that.
Okay, good.
So if we want transparency, let's give it. And
and
I'd like to
again-
just state real quickly, we gave a grant to the Elkton Alliance for $60-something hundred. The town of Elkton has not signed a lease for a parcel of land or a building. We didn't do it. we gave a grant to the Elkton Alliance, and the board of the Elkton Alliance chose to move forward with this co-op project. And
Is specifically to block an organization that was going to come into, your words, would
Yes.
cause potential problems
And I'll make it very
for the
clear.
liquor license,
And I'll
and that's
make-
why it was for, I questioned myself for a second of, damn, why was it for so long? And then I talked to the liquor board. We'll come to find out the state of Maryland, or the Cecil County, doesn't technically have a law where they can do that. So it has to go to the state, for the state to come up with a law for Cecil County to say, okay, we can issue that. So that's why, and again, I'm just trying to connect some dots here, and it makes, those dots make perfect sense to me. And again, in my opinion, government should never interfere that way. We are picking and choosing winners and losers. We don't do it for Delancey Village. We don't do it for out there where Redner's is. I mean, we have plenty of vacancies all over town, and we don't do it for them. Why are we doing it for downtown? It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, and again, I believe that there's been a lack of transparency from the word go, from the posting of a job that was supposed to be posted and was never posted to, you know, we're not trying to really aggressively find the 21% of water that we're missing. You know, that was reported to us months ago. We've changed out a few water meters, but we're not being aggressive about it. There's been so many inconsistencies and backroom deals that it just doesn't make any sense.
Commissioner.
I find that very insulting.
I am getting insulted. These
I find that very insulting.
I'm really taken back. I'm happy to hash this out with you if we could, if you want to, but I don't, the allegations that you're making is your allegations. And,
But there's
It's-
backroom deal, the backroom deal, which allegation are you referring to?
Any of these deals.
We're at the wrong place to be going after each other for, I would say,
Absolutely,
first of all, you said
absolutely.
about transparency. Now, you waited almost 3 weeks to bring this up when the rest of the board could have been discussing this and knowing exactly what you're throwing out at, on the table right now. And as of transparency, not one of us have you talked to us about this until tonight. Am I right or wrong?
I haven't said anything to anybody.
Transparency, how are we gonna know what we're gonna be dealing with?
My transparency is to those people.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
To those
And
people.
I
So let's
feel
talk,
the
so
same
we want to
way.
talk about
I'm
the
saying it in a
legal
nice
forum?
way, I mean, it's a nice way, I'm saying, this is not the
We
right
can talk
place
about
to
a legal
stand there and
forum,
argue
too.
about something that you thought you should have called somebody from the office and said, I've got an issue with this, and we could have talked about it, sent emails like you usually do, and talked about it, that's all I'm saying.
And those emails are hardly ever answered.
Okay, so, but now we're at nowhere.
So the point is then all of a sudden it said, why don't we do this behind closed doors? We discussed
And
a
you
lot of
said
stuff
behind closed doors, sir.
doors.
Behind
And
closed
it
doors,
never
everyone's
comes
doing
to
it behind
fruition.
closed doors.
And it's constantly, no, I don't agree that these things aren't discussed months in advance. I mean, I've had those people come to me to begin with and talk about the loan program even before the loan program even existed.
Well, the loan program was an opportunity for everyone. Because someone spoke about it, saying they would like to take advantage of it, doesn't mean it was a closed door. No one has come before us for the loan program.
And I'd like to add to that, has anyone came in front of us asking us to secure or guarantee a loan based on that program?
As soon as the state issues that.
There hasn't been
No,
anyone.
that hasn't.
There hasn't been anyone, and quite frankly, I doubt if there will be.
I'm just saying that, again, I don't like controversy. I don't like any of this stuff. You know, I don't like button heads. You know,
I don't
but
think
bus-
any of us do.
No,
And
no, we
listen,
don't. And
you're entitled to your opinion, absolutely.
Well, and part, you know, the vast majority of that isn't an opinion. The vast majority of that is exactly what was said, which is absolutely wrong in my opinion. And I can't believe the rest of the board would go along with something like that.
I can tell you, we had at an event last week in downtown Elkton, we had a member of the state that came in, and her name is
Amy Sites.
Amy Seitz with the facade program, made it very clear that they were very proud of us for modeling our town the way that we want to model it. This has been going on in Hagerstown, which they've really made a huge difference. The city of Hagerstown is actually, the municipality is buying buildings and putting the right type of business in those, because they're molding it to what their townspeople want. And good, bad, or indifferent, I believe in that. I believe, you disagree.
No.
You disagree.
No,
I believe it.
Again, no. That's not the point. The point, again, I hope, I'm dead serious. I hope every vacant building downtown is full. I hope every single one. I hope the brewery comes. I think it's a fantastic idea. Absolutely. We have to let business either grow or die by itself. We can't meddle in it that much. And when we block something strictly for that,
That's
what is
economic
it,
development.
no,
though.
that is not.
You do everything you can so a business that is here in Elkton does not die.
No, what you
And
do
we
is you
should
come up with
all
a
do that.
diagram, you have a plan, and I asked for that plan, when I first got elected, I asked for it. What is the plan? What is the plan moving forward? There is no plan, and I've talked to people downtown too, and they're just as discouraged sometimes that there is no plan.
Who have you talked to downtown?
Can we talk about that afterwards? And I would definitely give you the
No,
name.
let's be transparent.
No, I
Talk
want
about
to
it
be
now.
transparent.
Ingrid Minahan.
Ingrid, okay?
Yeah.
Have you been into the other businesses downtown?
I have talked to vacant owners, yes, that have called me.
Vacant owners
That
that
is
have
correct.
called you?
That's
Okay.
correct, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, yes.
So
And
the
that- and
person,
again,
the
I don't
person that
believe-
wants us to lend the money to, or guarantee a program is disgruntled with,
No. See, don't twist it, don't twist it. What was said was that there is not a plan moving forward for success in this town, that there is no business model. That's what is said. I'm not saying anything else. And
Very
again,
good.
as far as the brewery or any other business that wants to come in here, I am all for it. Absolutely all for it. I am not for my government getting involved as far as blocking stuff to make sure that
And do you have a plan?
I can come up with a plan very quickly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes,
An economic development plan for the town of Elkton?
sure. Yeah, the alliance wouldn't exist the way that it is right now.
Oh, I know, because everyone knows that.
No, and I'm actually
You're very
saying that-
transparent about that.
I try to be transparent
I
about
would
pretty
like
much
to see
everything.
someone step in and do what Elkton did for this Fall Fest, with all the volunteer people that was involved. I can say for the last two nights, 2 days, there was more people than had volunteered. Now, without an economic development income, they wouldn't be down there.
I'm not.
So I'm saying,
we can do much better. We can be much bigger
We
than
gotta
what's
have
going
more
on.
money for that.
That EDC has to go out
It's
and
not an
get jobs.
EDC, that's an economic development commission. We are not an EDC, okay? I've been wanting to say that.
Okay.
well, listen, instead of us keep beating each other up, I think we beat ourselves up here enough. What's your next item, sir?
I think we're good.
All right, this is the time we open up the floor to the public to say a word or two if they'd like to tonight. If not, yes, sir, Mr. Lemon, come on down.
Before Mr. Lemon, before you comment, I taught school and I gotta go back to
Go ahead.
you spoke on what needs to be done and basically, evidently, we did not come up with it. What do you suggest?
I suggest that we actually have a department in town that actually goes out and asks big business to come in here. The little ancillary stuff that's going to happen downtown, and I don't want any part of the town to die at all, none of it. The small things that are going to happen downtown is not going to decrease and or help the taxpayer that lives anywhere else in here. It doesn't. I mean, our job is to figure, let's talk about public safety. We talked about freaking,
Excuse your language.
excuse me, you're right, Mary Jo, you're right, actually, about the parking meters for 5 months. How long have we talked about public safety? How about we install the things like colleges have, where they have the blue light and they have a box and stuff like that? You know, why can't we put, I know we have some cameras around town, why can't we put cameras other places? Why aren't we talking about that? Because you can put whatever business you want downtown. I don't like going down there. I mean, we got approached the other day at the dog park, some lunatic. I mean, those are the things that we need to combat. Let's drive these people out here. And I think the loitering thing, I think is a fantastic idea.
I really would like you to come downtown for an event, or come to
I
here
go to
when the
events, and I
state
told you I
talks.
couldn't work the fall fest because I had to work.
I know, you
I
have
communicated
to
with
work,
you the
you're very
entire time.
demanding, you can't come when we have things like this. But if you would have heard the state speak, and what the mayor said in return, which was, without your downtown is your heart of your town. Without the heart of your town, you don't have a town. And he said that, and I have that in my head now, because he's absolutely right. We could have crime, we could have vandalism, the streets would be dead. But things are happening very good now,
Okay.
and they're changing.
I agree that there's a hell of a lot of buzz. Absolutely agree with you, Mary Jo, and I applaud the Alliance for what they're doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that my expectations were different and a lot higher as far as where we would be at this point, a year and a half into this. That's all.
Thank you.
Finance question, thanks. You did answer.
Mr. Lemon? Walnut Lane.
American Energy. I know Mary Jo has done a lot of work on this and sort of quarterbacked it, and I want to thank her for everything she's done. What I'm hearing tonight bothers me a little bit, because the cost, I think, you correct me, Mary Jo, but I think you told me the expense was like $17,000.
Yes, and that's what he came to tell me before the meeting started, that the numbers have changed, and because of Pepco and Delmarva now with the merger, and that's why I suggest that we sit and talk with Linda Tipton from Delmarva to see, if we wait, because will things come back, like you said, the grant, and
Well, number one is, I think we ought to ask him to lower his price. In business, you just wouldn't accept that number and say it's okay. You should talk to him and ask him to lower his, I'm suggesting that you talk to him and lower his price. And I heard here that he didn't quite count all the lights needed in the department. Now, is that negligence on his part, that he should pick it up and do it anyway, rather than come back and charge us? I think that should be discussed with him, because he did a survey. I'm assuming, I don't remember all the details, but I'm assuming he did a survey, came up and said this is what's needed. Now he comes back and says, I missed something, and wants to charge you $4,500 or whatever it was. So I have a problem with that too. I don't know, are they the only ones that you can deal with through the power companies?
they're the only ones that I know of that are local. There's a lot of companies in Virginia that come in, but I'm not aware of them.
Well, I say maybe, if there's other companies, you might ask the power company for a suggestion as to somebody that's more competitive. Now, when we started this thing, my hair was sort of gray and now it's white, so it's taken a long time. I think it's a very important project and I want to see the town move forward with it. But I don't want to see us ripped off, and that's the impression that I may be the only one that has that impression, but that's the way I feel about it.
Thank you.
Enough said.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Anyone else? Yep, Ms. Diane here.
I just would like to ask Mr. Van Renen if he and his backers would like to meet with me and a couple of the business people downtown. I feel like, I don't think this is to be discussed publicly, but Mr. Van Renen, if you would please contact me and have a meeting so we can discuss why you are opposed to the positive things that are going on downtown, and why you ran for office if you're not for building downtown. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'd like the opportunity to comment one more time that I am not opposed to positive things. Obviously, I have a more stern approach. And I will be the first one to admit I am extremely untactful. I have a problem with tact. I am pretty straightforward. So when I try to be tactful, it doesn't always come out the proper way. I am
But your
for positive.
grandstanding bothers me.
Ma'am, look, believe me, I didn't want to run for election. I am not a politician. I'm never going to pretend to be one. Never pretend to be one.
Well, thank you. Anyone else have anything to say this evening?
Do you still want me to call you?
Yes, please.
Fair enough.
Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at 8:13, I think. Thank you.